Welcome back to Grandpa Jimmy Barbecue. Today we're going to cook a brisket, and I've got two secrets for you. I've got a little secret and a big secret, and I think you're going to like them. So we started with a 19-pound brisket. I trimmed it up, and I got off 7 pounds of fat. I'm going to render that down. We can always use that for something else. So I ended up with 12 pounds of meat. So the grain of the meat is running this way, and it's always important to cut your brisket against the grain. So I put this little slice in there because after the brisket is done, it's going to have a nice, thick, dark, delicious crust on it, or bark as they call it. And this way I will know where to cut it, and I won't have any guesswork. Some people like to inject their brisket, and I'm going to do that today. And this is secret number one. It's the little secret. I am going to inject it with bacon grease. The other day I made a batch of chocolate-covered bacon. I'll show you that video another time. But I'm going to inject it. When you're injecting meat, it's important to inject it along the grain, with the grain instead of against the grain. You'll have a lot better success in getting more juice inside of there. And I'm going to inject this a lot. All over the place. You can see if you do it with the grain of the meat, it tends not to bubble up as much as if you did it against the grain. And now it's time to season it. Today, I'm going to use my favorite Smoky Woods Texas beef rub. This is really good stuff. And it's important to coat the entire brisket, top, bottom, sides, everything. Don't be afraid to be generous. And I don't have to use a binder because I've got a little bit of bacon fat that came through, popped out after I injected it. Now we're all done seasoning. I've got a very generous coat on there. It's time to put it on the grill. Now it's on the pellet grill. I got the grill set at 200 degrees. I'm going to cook it for 2 hours at 200, then bump it up to 2 1/4 for another 2 hours, and then after that we'll turn it up again. Reason I do that is because at the lower temperature, the meat is going to absorb more smoke and you're going to get better flavor and a better smoke ring. Okay, boys and girls, it's been on for 8 hours. My point is at 167 and the flat probe is at 170. We're going to take it off and wrap it in paper. Just like that. Easy peasy, man. All right, it's back on the grill, still at 250. I got my probes in. We're gonna wait till it gets to about 200, maybe 205 internal temperature, and stay tuned for the big secret number 2. So here's the scoop. The brisket's been on for about 12 hours. My point is at 201, and the flat is at 205. And now I'm gonna show you the big surprise. I don't know if it's such a surprise, but it's a new way to make brisket. I'll tell you that. I think you're going to like it. Our brisket is done. Most people would take it off the grill, like it is here, put it in a cooler, let it sit for a couple hours, and it'll be great. And that's all fine and dandy. But here's the super secret number 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this bad boy in tin foil and cook it for another 8 hours. I'm talking 140 to 150 degrees for another 8 hours. And people in a restaurant have something called an alto sham, which is a small contraption, an electronic device, a heater where you can keep food warm for a long time. I don't have one. Most people don't have one. However, I do have a Nesco roaster, and I've got it down to 150 degrees, and I'm going to put that on the Nesco roaster at 150 degrees for another 8 hours. This is going to be fabulous. If you will remember, I took the fat and I rendered it down. I've got a lot of juice, so I'm going to pour that right over the top. Oh, this is going to be good. And I'm going to seal it up in tin foil. Seal it up really well so nothing escapes. And I'm going to put this on the Nesco roaster for 8 hours at 150 degrees or so. And that is my second big secret to the best brisket you've ever had. It's time for my special 8-hour trick. You can't really trust a Nesco roaster dial to come out with the right temperature. So what I did is I put a couple of probes in there to come up with the right temperature. I'm at 149, 154. That is just perfect. I'm ready to put it on. So this is the big secret number 2. Cook it for another 8 hours at 150 degrees. It is going to be delicious. Now it's time for me to set my alarm, go to sleep, and I will show you what it looks like in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Since my brisket was taking an 8-hour nap in the roaster, I thought I'd take a little snooze myself. So it's 8 hours later, and it just happens to be Thanksgiving morning, 2024, so happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Let's dig in and see what we've got here. Here's the grand finale. I had 2 secrets to cooking this brisket. The little secret was that I injected it with bacon fat, like a lot of bacon fat. Second secret was to cook it an additional 8 hours at 150 degrees after it would normally be done. So let's dig in and see what we've got here. You can see my slice that I made, so I know that I cut like this. I'm going to be cutting perfectly against the grain. Ooh. Oh, she looks good to me. It's got a pretty decent smoke ring on it. The bend test as well. It pulled apart. Oh, that test worked well. Oh, I'm gonna have some breakfast. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. This is 12 pounds of heaven right here. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.